Okay, it's October 4th, 2018, going over the trades I took today. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos. Started off today fairly early at 9:12. I took an entry on crude oil. I'll start my little player here. Was up pretty good, almost up 10 ticks, 9 ticks I got up to, and I was holding for a little bit more, like 15. I saw some support at 75.60, and it wasn't a great entry. A better entry would have been up here, but I didn't see a lot of momentum coming in till about right here. And crude oil can be tricky. You can jump in it thinking it's taking off, then it can pause, reverse on you. So I didn't have a good entry nor a really good stop loss placement. And this one, after being like 1 tick from, I could have gotten a nice little 10 tick score, it starts retracing, and I should have gotten out, but I kind of stayed in and started going against me. And I'm forwarding this a little bit. You can see at this point now I'm like 6-7 ticks down. We're picking up some momentum to the upside, and I ended up getting out with about an 11 tick loss. So not the best way to start the day, down minus 220. So I did something called my ECM inventory, which stands for Emotional Cognitive Market Inventory. And what this is, a little psychological technique that I use after generally a loss, especially first one of the morning. Don't like to start my day off that way, but losing's part of the game. If you can't take some losses, forget it. So what I do is I evaluate myself emotionally. I ask myself a few questions. How are you feeling right now? Is this disturbing you? Blah, blah, blah. And the idea is to evaluate my emotional state. Then cognitively, are you fully alert? Are you focused? Okay, yes, I am fine. I answered yes to both of those. How's the market looking? Well, we're in a strong downtrend, but right at this immediate moment, possibly retracing. So what this does is a lot of times when people lose, and I used to do this all the time, there's this urgency to jump back in without really evaluating your mental state, and this can affect how you perceive the market. All right, enough psycho babble, but that does help me quite a bit. On to the next trade. All right, a couple of minutes into the session, NQ made this very strong, fast impulse wave down. And although I like to wait more than usually 10 minutes or so into the open, it became pretty clear to me that the direction was down. I didn't wait for a large pullback because I absolutely identified extremely strong momentum, and I knew we were going to run into some support here. So my idea was just to get a quick scalp. 20 ticks or so is what I was looking for. And you can see me moving my target, looking for, and I could see it was bouncing a little bit.
Target filled.
Okay, so took profit there. And we can see, let me pause that real quick, that my targeting wasn't that bad because a few seconds later we made a nice little pop up off of this support level. Okay, by now we had broken through these lows of the day. Again, another strong impulse wave down. On my 30-minute chart, I saw a support level here where price had interacted with this area at 75.80 quite a bit. So I knew, again, if I went in, probably was going to go for a scalp.
Order filled.
And here we had a classic pullback, A-shape, second wave, textbook setup that I like to use when there's a lot of momentum. And again, looking for not a huge winner, maybe another 20. This was almost a 30 tick scalp there. So started getting back after that initial loss. In the meantime, after pulling back, especially with a nice little wick here at the 20 EMA on my 4 Unorenko setting, I've got kind of a little custom setting I've come up with that I really like for crude oil. Sometimes I don't like the 2-range line chart on crude oil since it moves a little differently than NQ. I like the smoothness of the Unorenko chart, and the setting I have I feel is pretty good for crude oil. So it started making another move. I saw some support at 60, so it was just going for a 10-tick scalp. And you can see here me hitting the target. Lots of level 9 ticking on tick strike. So that was an additional 200 from a 10-tick 2-contract scalp on crude oil. All right, going back to NQ at around 9:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, this is all within the first half hour of the open. We had hit this level I had mentioned. You can see on the 30-minute chart here where I had marked this off as a very strong support level because price, again, has interacted with it. And then when I opened it up, I saw like several weeks worth of price. There's just areas that seem to, and it's very easy for me to map out. I don't need to use market profile or anything like that. And just see where price interacted. Now I did a little technique here that I don't recommend to most traders unless you've got a lot of experience with NQ, and it's kind of a very fast scalping counter trend move. I think for the most part people should trade with the strong trend. We were in a very strong trend, but I saw a couple of things happen, and I knew when it hit this level here that if it didn't immediately break through, we could see some short-term buying come in. And I wanted to capitalize on a short-term buying scalp. So we came down here, made a little pop-up that I recognized as a small impulse wave. And what I was looking for is this to come down and form what I call a W formation. And I'm looking for this little top to come out, and you'll see it was a nice move. Going to speed this up a little. Put in an order, had to come back and trigger it. But here it is. Here's the W formation. When this top got popped, and all I'm looking for is a very fast scalp, and I'm not going to take a lot of risk on this. I want to see it do something, and as it comes up, I know it has to get through these swings, and I'm just, again, looking for about 20 ticks. Look how fast I broke even. I have a hotkey where I hit the delete button and the stop goes right to break even. And if it got stopped out, I didn't care. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to see if I could get a momentum scalp. And there it is again, about another 25 ticks or so. So that worked out well, and it wasn't something I wanted to ride up too far because I had a feeling that with this strong trend we were going to come back down. Okay, here I saw on my 2-minute chart a nice little pullback to this
Order filled.
resistance level. We got some acceleration in here, and again, we've already hit a very strong support level, so I'm not looking necessarily for a big move again. And I know on one of my earlier videos I said I was trying to ride out some bigger winners. But right now it was more, at this price level, a scalping thing because we were already very low in price and we'd already hit a top bottom. So I'm just looking for scalps at this point, and they add up. 20 tick scalps on 2 contracts adds up pretty good. And you can see I took there about 20 ticks. And if I forward that, what happens after it hits my target? Boom. I mean, sure, you can hold it through these moves, and you can hold it, but I like taking sometimes these little scores when I'm at this type of price level, getting out, and you can see my targeting is generally pretty right on. Usually after my target's hit, you'll see price jump up in the opposite way. This comes from years of watching price move and getting a feel for it. Okay, got a little greedy here. Wasn't probably the best setup, but as you can see, I went back to the well for another M-shaped second wave down. Didn't really do what I wanted. You can see I made a very small stop loss here. Wasn't willing to really risk all the nice pips I've made. Pips, thinking of Forex. Ticks. I used to be a Forex guy many years ago, so say pips once in a while instead of ticks. Okay, well, what happens here? I get stopped out. So I lost that one. That was a 20 tick. It wasn't almost 20 tick loser, not quite. Somewhere right around there. I don't even know exactly because I didn't count it out. I just dragged the stop down. So, miscalculation there. Was thinking about calling it a day. It wasn't a bad day. Then I saw this happen. This little swing getting broken here. Nice new A.
Order filled.
Now, I was a little slow on the trigger there. You can see this would have been a better entry, but
Order canceled.
wasn't the best entry. And this is a 40 tick target. And I decided unless something really I don't like happens, I'm going to hold it for this target. And as we scroll a little, you can see it started really popping down hard. Level 9 ticking on tick strike telling me a lot of order flow coming into that short side. And I'm finessing my target here. Do I want to take it or just hold it? And that's what I like about this chart trader. You can kind of put your target anywhere you want, drag it right on your chart. And it hit the full 40 ticks. Had a good day, and that is where I decided to call it a day. And it was only at the time, well, about 10 o'clock. So in the half-hour opening, I was done. And time to go do something enjoyable for the rest of the day. All right, that's it.